The strongest acids ever. 6. Sulfuric. An acid is said to be strong when it produces an advanced number of hydrogen ions and has lower pK values. Sulfuric acid, whose chemical formula is H2SO4, has a pK value of -3 and reportedly serves as a base reference to compare the acidity position of other acids. Also known as oil of vitriol, sulfuric is odorless, colorless, and largely reactive when mixed with water as it produces an intense exothermic response. Thus, one will find this chemical useful in diligence like husbandry, wastewater treatment, and oil refining, also used in batteries, and acts as a drawing agent. Still, the acid is largely sharp, which means it can beget severe burns and tissue damage when it comes in contact with the skin. People who are working with H2SO4 have to be veritably careful as it can beget damage to eyes, lungs, and teeth, and indeed lead to their demise. 5. Hydrochloric acid. HCl has a pK value of -5.9 and is said to be stronger than sulfuric acid because its hydrogen ions are fluently separated from chloride. Just like the oil of vitriol, hydrochloric acid is also extensively used in various diligence and labs. The chemical is believed to be discovered by Jabir ibn Hayyan, an Iranian polymath, with nearly around 800 announcements. Hydrochloric acid is also used to make numerous other chemicals and as a detergent and slimicide, a chemical that prevents the growth of slime in paper stock. HCl is also naturally produced by our stomach that breaks down connective tissue and cell membranes in food, for easy digestion. Hydrochloric acid also executes the utmost of the bacteria ingested with the food. Still, exposure to largely sharp chemicals can lead to swelling and spasms of the throat and suffocation. 4. Perchloric acid. With the chemical formula of HClO4 and a pK value of nearly between 10 and 15.2, perchloric acid is among the strongest known Brønsted-Lowry acids. These kinds of chemicals have important oxidizing parcels and are largely sharp. Traditionally, it's produced by treating sodium perchlorate with hydrochloric acid HCl, which also creates sodium chloride. Reportedly, back in 1947, in Los Angeles, California, about 150 people were injured, and 17 were deceased due to a chemical exposure that contained nearly 75 perchloric acid by volume, and 25 acetic anhydride. It also damaged further than 250 near structures and vehicles. When working in labs, experimenters have to be veritably careful while handling this grave chemical. As per safety guidelines, perchloric acid will damage the experimenter's tissues as fluently as it'll harm the sample tissue. To help with injury, goggles or face securities, gloves, and an apron must be worn when handling perchloric acid. 3. Fluoroantimonic acid. Fluoroantimonic acid, whose chemical formula is H2FSBF6, is maybe the strongest of all known superacids grounded on the Hammett acidity function values. Its Ho value is 15 pure form, and 28 with 50 moles%, and is produced by mixing hydrogen fluoride with antimony pentafluoride, generally in a 21 proportion. Superacids are so strong they cannot be measured using the regular pH or pKa scales. Rather, they're measured using the Hammett acidity function, written as H0, or other special functions in place of the standard pH scales. The superacid is extensively used in chemical engineering and petrochemical assiduity. The colorless liquid can prove to be fatal if swallowed or gobbled and can beget severe burns if it comes in contact with the skin. Fluoroantimonic acid is the strongest acid and one of the sharpest, but experts say that in some ways, hydrofluoric acid is still the most grievous. 2. Nitric acid. Nitric acid is a largely sharp colorless mineral acid with a chemical formula of HNO3. This chemical is used in the production of plastics, colorings, and ammonium nitrate for fertilizers, and is also used for making snares including nitroglycerin. Exposure to the largely sharp chemical can beget irritation to the eyes, as well as burns, ulceration and scarring to the skin. Gobbled nitric oxide can briskly respond with oxygen in the lung to form nitrogen dioxide, which can cause delayed pulmonary edema, redundant fluid in the lungs, pneumonitis, inflammation of lungs, and bronchitis. Nitric acid is categorized as a strong acid, in the same order as hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and chloric acid. An incident had taken place in Tucson, Arizona, where a truck turned over undivulged nitric acid on the road. According to multiple news reports, people within half an hour of the affected area of the acid slip have been directed to move out. Meanwhile, those living within a hour have been told to not use their heating and air exertion units to help outside air from entering their structures. 1. Hydrobromic acid. Hydrobromic acid has a pKa of -9, making it a stronger acid than hydrochloric acid, but not as strong as hydroiodic acid. Hydrobromic acid is one of the strongest mineral acids known. Reportedly, hydrobromic acid is a colorless to light yellow liquid that's formed from one atom of hydrogen and one atom of bromine. It's one of the strongest mineral acids. Hydrogen bromide is a simple inorganic emulsion. It contains a hydrogen snippet having a single covalent bond with a bromine snippet. When this substance is dissolved in water, it forms hydrobromic acid. When considering the synthesis of hydrobromic acid, it can be prepared in the laboratory via the response between Br2, SO2, and water. This response gives hydrobromic acid and sulfuric acid as the derivate. Still, the typical laboratory product system is the product of anhydrous HBr, which is also dissolved in water.